Hello, welcome to Enemy Album Club. It's that time of week. Thanks for tuning in. I am Dan Stubbs.
And I'm Jordan Bassett.
And we're going to be blathering on about two new-ish albums and one classic album, as ever. I say new-ish because last week we did an extra special one where there was three of us. The format went absolutely to pop, didn't it? And we talked about the 10 albums of the year, which we put out in last week's magazine. So it's Enemy's albums of 2017.
I mean, in our defence, 10 albums is a lot.
It was a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
And we learned that your Wu-Tang name would be Jizza. Do you remember that? That was a good moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Leonie corpsed.
Yeah, she did. She corpsed. But anyway, so that meant we missed quite a big album, it's fair to say. That's going to be the second one we do. The first one actually is out today, and it is going to be us two talking about U2.
Very good. The album is Songs of Experience.
So, Songs of Experience. This was the one that follows Songs of Innocence, which was the one that crapped itself onto everyone's iPhones. Everyone went nuts.
Yeah.
And people were incensed at this free gift.
People hate it. It was in 2014. I feel like of all the things that people take issue with U2 over, like that's the one that stuck. That's the one that will haunt them to their graves.
Totally. And this album is definitely a reflection of that. But I think it reflected, didn't it, that kind of the sense of arrogance that you always suspected U2 had. Like, just that in some meeting they just sort of went, well, of course everyone who has an iPhone will want our album.
Why wouldn't they? Yeah.
Why wouldn't they? Yeah. Without thinking, actually, a lot of people really, really loathe U2.
But then, the surely monumental amount of money they must have got paid to do that. Like, I'm sorry, I put Albums Club on your iPhone if they were going to pay me millions of pounds to do it, and I'm sorry about that. You'll just have to delete it.
But so it backfired. I think as a result the album didn't really get a fair crack of the whip.
See, yeah.
You were saying that you quite like it.
I really like that album. I really like it. It's very much there.
I never listened to it, I just deleted it angrily and when that app thing came out.
Yeah.
To get rid of it.
No, it's really good.
Buster.
It's somewhat, I saw someone refer to it as an iPhone clogger earlier.
That might have been our own Mark Beaumont in his review, probably, yeah.
But I know, I really liked it. That's like their album when they're reflecting on their youth and young manhood.
Yeah.
And it's all about their starting out and their kind of youthful vitality. There's a song on there called The Miracle of Joey Ramone, which is all about like hearing the Ramones for the first time as a kid and feeling like the seismic rush of punk music. And
that in itself was a bit sort of like sticking your throat, wasn't it? Because if the Ramones are kind of a guy with a burger cart, you two are like McDonald's. So
yes,
like,
I suppose
them
so.
Kind of connecting themselves with this punk icon, even though they came from like that kind of scene.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
They're just too big to have kind of that fondness for, I think, aren't they? That's part of the problem.
Yeah, I suppose so. But what I like about U2 is their ambition. You can't fault them for ambition, can you?
They had the band that kind of defined that sort of sense of big 80s, 90s ambition of wanting to be the biggest band. And it's almost people say, they're trying to do a U2.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
This album, then weirdly, so like they had this knockback, and actually I think it did have an effect on them. They did take on board that people didn't like it and they were pissed off with it. Then didn't Bono bike crash?
We had a brush with mortality.
A brush with mortality
is what they called it, but it was
and I think this album, it's taken a lot longer than it was supposed to. This was supposed to be a quick follow-up to Songs of Innocence,
3 years.
I think that speaks a lot that they've kind of revisited it and changed probably and learned from the experience.
Yeah.
And this album is a sort of like please like us again kind of album.
Right,
this sounds like U2 trying to do a U2.
Right, yeah. But actually, I don't like it as much as the previous one. I do like it. But
I don't like U2 then.
Right. But that's not what I want from them. I kind of want the arrogance, you know? But like, as has been pointed out by a few people, it does feel like they're sort of trying on different styles of music that are popular in the charts right now.
Only in the sense that there's a bit of auto-tune on there, isn't there, which is quite...
Yeah. There's a bit of Kanye-style auto-tune.
Yeah.
There's a couple of tracks that sound a bit like Bastille, like what I would call pomp pop.
Yeah, pop. That's good, that. You heard that one here first, or maybe not. Is it yours?
It is. No, it is.
Pop,
Don't Wikipedia it.
Pomp Pop. Yeah, so there is some pop, but mostly there's a lot of U2 type pop, and the lyrics are almost entirely sort of platitudes, aren't these? Like,
right, okay. So have you got some for us?
You are rock and roll, came here looking for American soul.
Oh my God.
But there's a lot of that kind of stuff on it. There's two guests who are sort of like deployed oddly, I would say.
Right, yeah.
Big guests as well. So Kendrick Lamar's on it, isn't he?
That it sort of feels a bit tacked on the end,
He's
doesn't
like
it?
falling down the sofa crack between Get Out of Your Own Way and American Soul.
Yeah.
Which was the one I just quoted from.
And then he sort of scrambles out for 30 seconds, doesn't it? And then slides back down.
So they put him on the kind of like the run out groove of those two tracks, between those tracks, in the bit where like you suspect if you sort of added it to your iTunes library badly, there'd be an awkward gap.
Right, yeah.
Right. And Lady Gaga's on it.
Oh, right, okay.
On Summer of Love. You missed it.
I missed it. I genuinely did, yeah.
Doing the old BVs, as they say in the business, or backing vocals. They are.
Such a pro.
I didn't come up with that one.
I honestly totally missed Gaga. Okay.
But so you do like this album?
I do like it, yeah. I do like it.
It's awkward to admit that you like it. But actually, it seems like the critics are kind of behind this one. I think it's probably we'll see next week whether the fans are behind it as well. But
yeah.
They don't need to sell those albums. Like they just did a massive tour where they played the Joshua Tree.
Well, yeah, this is it. This is what I like about U2. I like the fact that they're sort of still trying. Their last 3 tours collectively grossed $1 billion.
Right.
I don't need to. Why are they still
Did you have to fight the temptation?
I really did. Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't, because that's would have sent me back to sort of like bad student parties or something.
Right. Yeah. But like, I don't really know why there are still, but I'm glad that they are.
Because they just want to be loved, don't they? This is late middle-aged men who still go by names such as The Edge and Bono.
Bono, yeah.
Like,
does Bono still wear? He does still wear the glasses, doesn't he?
I don't know, but yeah. I don't know. In bright sunlight, I'm sure.
Yeah, he must.
But that's
do,
excusable. But I mean, I think they want to feel relevant, and this album is like them trying. Actually, there's such professionals that they've sort of pulled it off. Like it has got good songs on it.
Yeah.
There are good guests on it. Like they've been quite restrained about the way they've sold it to people this time compared to last time.
Yeah.
I think they've done okay, really.
Yeah, I think there's only one song on it that I don't like, which is called. It's got a good title. Love is bigger than anything in its way. That's a good title, isn't it?
Okay, yeah.
But it's like that one that you can see how hard they're trying, and I think that's the one where like they sort of seem like they're trying too hard. That song sounds like what people who don't like U2 think U2 sound like. You know, it's like big overblow and like sort of wishy-washy guitars.
Wishy-washy? Oh my god. You'll get complaints.
Why?
And you can say a lot of things about the Edge's guitar, but wishy-washy.
I'd been like
sort of stuff. Yeah.
But anyway,
that's their thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but yeah, I agree. On the for the most part, I think they've pulled it off. Not as good as the last one, but it's, got to have something to keep reaching for, haven't they?
And this is so. The idea is it sort of talks about adulthood. This one. Did it sum up adulthood for you?
Not really. I mean, no. Actually, that's a good point, because the last one I think really did sum up that sort of that adolescent feeling of like, wanting to go out into the world and like make a mark. And I wouldn't say this one has a particularly. Does this have any kind of like? Does it tell a story for you? This?
Yeah, I think there's more about kind of marriage and stuff on there. And,
right. Okay.
But the adolescent and teenage years are quite concentrated times of raging emotions and hormones, aren't they? Whereas the adult years are sprawling, depressing mass
of decay.
So, how many adults out of 5 adults are you going to give U2 Songs of Experience?
4 adults, 8 children, because children are smaller, aren't they? So
I'm going to give it 3 adults.
Okay.
An awkward menage a trois. Next is also this. I think there's a theme this week.
Right. Yeah.
I know Leonie likes to. She's not here this week, by the way, in case you were wondering.
Yeah.
She's out doing a job. She likes to find themes between the albums, and I think the theme here is ambitious men.
Right.
The next one is a very ambitious man, and this is the album that we missed last week, and we can't really not talk about it. It is none other than NG, Noel Gallagher, with Who Built the Moon. Who Built the Moon? It's another album title that proves that Noel Gallagher isn't very good at album titles. But he is occasionally.
All band names.
But he is high flying. I still can't get with the high flying birds. It's just go for Noel Gallagher, I think. Yeah. Anyway, aside from all that stuff, he is very good at doing albums.
Right, yes.
Famously, and this one is this is a good album.
I'm surprised that you like it. I didn't think you were going to like it.
I do like it. Yeah.
I thought you were going to be. I was looking forward to it. I thought because I quite like it. I thought you were going to be bad cop this week.
I think like we were all shocked when that new Vaccine song came in the office, and then someone said it's Noel Gallagher.
I mean, that song is absolutely bonkers. I can't decide if I love or hate that song. I can't achieve any critical distance from it.
No, I do. I've decided I do like it.
You do like it.
We're talking about obviously Holy Mountain,
which was the lead single. Which to me it sounds like Tony Christie doing Slade with the Vaccines as his backing band.
Okay, right. I've got the Vaccines doing She Bangs on Stars in Their Eyes as Roy Wood and Wizard doing I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day.
Yeah, I mean that works too.
Yeah.
What's that board game where you have to put like words together?
Scrabble.
I wasn't thinking of Scrabble, but anyway, it's a bit like a sort of music journalist version of that game, isn't it?
Yeah, we all had a lot of fun with it, didn't we? It's good fun.
That song's like just crazy. Like, why is it so loud?
Well, this is the good thing, isn't it? Because I think he was at that tipping point where he either becomes like Wildwood era Weller and he just goes, hand me my acoustic guitar for the rest of my life. And just does these kind of lump and plodding ballads. Like he's very good at that sort of stuff. And even in Oasis, like things like Half the World Away were really good and could work as Noel solo stuff. But this is him going, no, I'm going to like get my groove back.
Noel gets his groove back.
How Noel got his groove back.
At the end of that song, he bellows over and over again, she fell under my spell. It's like, he's 50, he must be knackered. He must be absolutely naked. It goes on for about 5 minutes. Yeah. Jesus. But, good on him.
Probably he's got some sort of advanced breathing techniques that he's learned over the years.
I think. Yeah.
Or maybe it's just all studio magic. But speaking of which, the studio magic on this was David Holmes, who's obviously a very a good collaborator and a very good ear. So he's someone who's kind of explored a lot of kind of psychedelic music over the years. He's produced some really incredible things. And like what him and Noel have come up with is something here that a lot of people are saying, and is quite right, is in tune with cool things from the late 90s. So like Exterminator era Primal Scream, Spiritualized, Death in Vegas, it's that kind of stuff, which Noel's always had a liking for but never quite gone to in his own music. So, and he did that track with Uncle, for example, but I believe, hope I'm not wrong on that. But this is him kind of finding that kind of like, it's like big, kind of expansive.
Yeah.
Like,
but I think the singles from it, Fort Knox, and which we'll get onto in a second, and Holy Mountain, are the most like striking.
She Taught Me How to Fly, is that a single?
Oh, that is also a single, yeah. They're the most striking ones, and the rest of it I think is good, but it's like it just sounds like a lot of it just sounds like a good Noel's High Flying Birds album to me. And he's talked it up as being this like mad experimental album where he said that David Holmes told him to throw out the rule book and they were going to have to write everything there and then in the studio and not like bring any sort of old bits that he had kicking about and like use them. Yeah. But like, it's good, but I don't think there's much evidence of that. Yeah. It reminds me a little bit of with the second BDI album when they were like, well, as we said before, I quite like BDI, but like they talk this up as, oh my god, it's like totally crazy, it's really wild and experimental, and they brought in Dave Sitek from TV on the Radio, and everyone was expecting this kind of crazy psychedelic album, and it just sounded like a BDI album with some weird sound effects on it. Yeah. And I think not to the same extent, to a lesser extent, a lot of this is a similar kind of vibe.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting point. I guess, do you want like Noel Gallagher doing his version of Revolution Number 9, or do you just want Noel Gallagher doing some Noel Gallagher songs?
Yeah, fair enough.
A bit more like,
there's
more thrust behind them, which is what we've got.
Yeah, there is a lot of thrust.
Lots of thrust.
Fort Knox is probably the least Noel sounding one on there, which that was the second single.
That's the opening track, right? Are you sure this was a single?
Yeah.
It's mostly instrumental, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a single.
Okay, yeah.
He said it was inspired by Power by Kanye. He wanted to evoke that same feeling. You know how
another thematic thread here between this and U2's album, the auto-tune, the Kanye influences.
He's all over the place, isn't he?
He's not released anything this year, but he's all over.
You know how like you listen to Power and it makes you go,
yeah. Is that why you punched the wall earlier?
yeah, terrible damage out there, awful.
Yeah.
But it kind of has that similar sort of huge feel to it. You into that track?
Yeah, and I think it's really good. It's like I think actually those two tracks that goes into Holy Mountain. It's a really good start to the album. Yeah, maybe it loses it a little bit in the rest of it, but I don't know. It's good. I think it's like he seems like the obvious thing that we've not talked about here is that Liam Gallagher's album came out a couple of weeks ago. He sort of basically went head to head, not full head to head. That would have been quite something, but I think it would have taken away from each of their campaigns.
Right, yeah.
Liam's album is kind of all about recapturing that Oasis sound, whereas Noel's one is going like, no, I'm really different to that now, and this is what I do, and I don't care what he's doing.
Yeah.
And, you know, he goes on stage, he's controversially had that scissor player, didn't he?
Yeah,
I hear a lot of the scissor player on the album, but I know they're in there somewhere.
That was on She Taught Me How to Fly, and everyone was pranging out about it, like
Yeah.
all the kind of old school Oasis fans were, it was totally mad, and I think that distracted everyone from the fact that, like, that song sounds like a Noel song.
Yeah.
It's not that crazy. But yes, you are right, though. They've gone in sort of two opposite camps.
This is him sort of rising above it all. Like
Yeah.
a high-flying bird.
See,
You might say.
practice
Well, how many
that. Birds.
moons?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, fine.
How many moons out of 5 moons are you going to give Who Built the Moon?
4.
4. I'm going to give it 4 moons. Who did build the moon?
I mean, that is beyond my pay grade. I can't answer that question, I'm afraid.
So that was Noel. Consensus reached.
Yeah, that's
Cheers
nice.
to that.
Yeah, all right. Top one.
Nice one. Third and final album is the classic album this week. And I feel like we say this a lot. They don't get more classic than this.
Apparently they do.
But
Every week they get more classic.
They probably don't get more classic than this. It's 35 years old today, yesterday, November the 30th. And it is Michael Jackson's Thriller.
So let me hold you tight and share up together. 'Cause this is it.
So this is my personal copy of this, Jordan.
It is, yeah. It looks well thumbed.
Smells like a
Do I have to
charity
smell
shop.
it?
Yeah, let's give it a sniff. It's got a funny...
Oh, it does smell like a charity shop, yeah.
Yeah, that's what my house smells like.
It doesn't. It smells lovely. I've been.
It doesn't make me special to have this because there are 66 million of these in the world.
Whoa.
Maybe not on vinyl, but most of them would be. It sold 66 million. I was laboured way of saying this sold 66 million copies, an estimated 66 million.
Still
which makes it. Do the fact.
The best-selling album of all time.
Of all time.
Yeah.
And is it the best album of all time?
I mean,
One of them, but you've got a controversial opinion. on this,
probably.
don't you?
I don't like it. I'm sorry.
You like it?
I'm sorry. I don't really like Michael Jackson.
Oh, let me reel through these. There's 7 singles off this album, and there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I feel like I've been held to account.
There's 9 tracks on this, and 7 of them were singles, I believe. So I want to be starting something. The Girl Is Mine, featuring Macca. Thriller, Beat It, Billie Jean, Human Nature. You cannot argue with this track. This album in itself is a greatest hits because they were all hits.
Well, this is the goal he set himself, wasn't it? To have an album that would, like, every track could or would be a hit single. He did it.
I've just seen something in here that's going to make you like it more.
Okay.
Which is the Inner Image.
I mean, that does make me like it a lot.
Which is with a lovely cover.
It does make me like, I just don't like that, like, 80s.
Where is he now, that cover, I wonder?
I've got no idea. He's probably in some, like, Zoo for the Stars.
He's 35, I wonder if they listed that. Yeah.
I don't know how long.
I tried to track down Bubbles once for a piece I was writing.
No, you didn't.
I found him, but he wasn't up for an interview, or rather the keeper wasn't. They don't like to talk about it. Yeah. But anyway, that is a complete tangent. So this was
sold as exclusive to another publication, I would imagine.
Maybe, yeah. So I said the thematic link here was ambitious men, and this is the product of him being pissed off with how Off the Wall, which is an excellent album and sold actually really well. He didn't think it was revered enough as an album, and he wanted to do something that was undeniable and that would make him, like, one of the biggest artists of all time, if not the biggest. His ambition was to be the king of pop, and this was the album where he tried to do it. he hooked up with Quincy Jones again. It was recorded like, what was this? He told the instrumentalists in the Westlake recording studio to think of Michelangelo painting the Sistine Chapel. Do whatever you need. The sky is the limit.
That's good, isn't it?
That was the advice that he gave them.
I also read that Quincy Jones had a sign in the studio that read, "Always leave space for God to walk into the room."
Right.
You'd
Wow.
let him play guitar solo, wouldn't you? God. Go on, God.
And there's a link here, do you know it, to Cleethorpes.
No, I already like it more.
Right, yeah. Because Rod Temperton, who I believe died maybe last year or the year before, he co-wrote or wrote Thriller.
Right,
and he
okay.
was a man from Cleethorpes.
That's absolutely amazing.
On the unglamorous east coast of Britain.
That's so good. That's a bit like Mick Ronson being from Hull, isn't it?
And Thriller really was, this album wasn't even called Thriller, I can't remember what it was called, but it was called something else until this track came along, and it kind of gave it a feel. I really liked it when I was a kid because it was like Halloween music, wasn't it? You were kind of into it because it was a bit spooky.
Yeah.
I did read, this is a quote from John Landis talking about the videos of Thriller though, which will really reframe what Thriller's all about. He said, "In adolescence, youngsters begin to grow hair in unexpected places.
Oh, John, stop talking.
And parts of their anatomy swell and grow." Now, I don't know if that's fake news or if that's a real quote from John Landis. I apologise if it isn't, but I did find it on the internet, which is famously true. And that really, I just thought it was about werewolves and stuff. It's not. It's all a metaphor.
Gross.
Gross.
Maybe that's what happened to Bubbles. Maybe he
Adolescence.
was just a normal little boy.
What are your specific complaints?
No,
with
I
it?
just don't like that 80s sound, that that like massive like percussion and
not Indian enough for you, is it?
It's not Indian enough for me. But also like it just reminds me, like as I was saying earlier, of like being at school, being a kid and like in the summer holidays and being like dangerously bored and turning on the TV to like the crap music channels that were on Freeview, like the hits and things like that, and they were always playing like Beat It, and it wasn't like of my era, it didn't mean anything to me, and I just always hated it.
Right.
Sorry.
You don't even like Beat It?
I mean, like, you can... I mean, that is good. Or it reminds me of like going to Reflex in York on the revolving dance floor and thinking, God, this is crap.
You might have lost some of the empathy with what you're saying. It's quite specific, that.
Right, okay, I went into specific. But like, yeah, I mean, you can obviously recognise that something is brilliant whilst also thinking, I don't need it in my ear holes, ever.
Yeah.
You know?
Probably a lot of people are thinking about albums right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Beat It itself was, Quincy Jones wanted to do a black music version of My Sharona's.
Yeah.
My Sharona by The Knack, which is interesting. I never knew that. I found that out today when I was doing some research. There is research.
There is research. I found that out during research as well.
Yeah, I mean...
Well, Eddie Van Halen's on that one, isn't he?
He is, yeah. But only this is one of these often mistaken things where he just does either the intro bit or the solo.
I think he just does the solo.
Yeah.
But at
so
the
not
time...
The riff's what it's all about for me.
Yeah, right, yeah. But like having Eddie Van Halen on at the time, that was quite like, you know, mashups are quite common these days, aren't they?
Yeah.
But like, it was quite unusual at the time.
And there was a mac-up on there with The Girl Is Mine. And also on this, what's really nice about this, you forget that Michael Jackson, although he'd been around for a long time at this point because of the Jackson 5 and everything, he was still very young, and he'd drawn this
24
really sweet drawing of him and Paul McCartney, sort of oddly yanking a girl, which is not okay, but
because the song is about them like fighting over it, girls' affections.
And it's like he signed it. It's actually quite the artist. You probably can't see that.
Nice.
I don't know, but. And then on the back, here's Thriller.
He's given himself quite a big bum there.
Yeah.
Jacko.
Here's his interpretation of Thriller.
I prefer that.
That rather than John Landis's.
Yeah, I didn't like Landis's at all.
How many unexpected hair growth patches out of 5 are you going to give it?
Well, I've snookered myself now because I mean, obviously it's a 5-star album, but
You can
I
give
don't
it
like
less because I'm going to exceed 5 to
right.
fill it up to 10, whatever you give it.
All right, I'll give it 3 pubes.
Right. Okay. So for me now, it It's going to get 8, so it's an 11.
You're fine. Okay.
It's an 11 out of 10.
So you got to be happy
combined.
with that. I mean, it's all worked. It's all worked out in the end.
Will you be taking part in a Thriller flash mob dance somewhere after this?
No, that's all the stuff I hate about it. That's all the stuff I hate about it.
I feel like if you did that, maybe you. Yeah, I think you quite like that secretly. You wouldn't want to get involved, and then.
But I'd watch it when it appeared on my Facebook feed. Wouldn't I? But I'd make sure no one was looking.
Well, whether you're off to do a Thriller flash mob, or just go home after work. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Album Club. We'll be back next week. It's got to be Christmas album time next week, hasn't it?
Oh,
When's the Sia one out? When's the Gwen Stefani one out?
I don't
Soon.
have answers to either of those questions.
Yeah. It is the season.
Absolutely.
Join us next week, please, and thank you for joining us today.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.